Imagine if you could take a very simple vocal sample, or even a portion of a vocal sample, and transform it into an awesome ambient pad sound. The human voice is like one of the most emotive sources to sample from. This is like one of my all-time favorite techniques. I'm going to quickly show you a method that's actually really easy to do, and it translates super well to really any software or hardware sampling device. And linked down below are a bunch of really fun Ableton presets if you just want to download something and get started right away. Also, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you're into music production topics. It's a great way to support the channel, costs nothing. I also want to give a huge shout out to this channel's Patreon members, really cool community of people, super talented people, by the way. You can promote your music there if you want to sign up for free. These Patreon members really help support the channel, so thank you guys so much. Super grateful for your support. Let's get into it. Okay, so a great starting point for doing this kind of technique is to start with a good vocal sample. Some of the easiest ones to work with are something like this. It's kind of a simple like ooh or ah sound. You'll find these in a lot of different vocal sample packs, and you can obviously record it yourself. You don't even have to sing the note that well, just auto-tune it and you can create this sort of line. But we'll use this one, and the whole crux of this idea is to run it into a sampler. So it's going to look something like this, where you're creating a loop structure and then turning it into like a pad, like something you do with a synthesizer pad sound. So how do you do that? In Ableton, you want to go to the device Simpler. So I'm going to go to Instruments, Simpler, drag and drop that in. I can just drag and drop this sample into there. I can hit this little triangle, it makes things bigger. Now, a couple things I do right off the bat is actually turn up the voices. So by default, it's 6, but if I decide I want to make some huge chord pad synth sounds, you know, something I've done on the channel is a lot of chord stuff. I like making big chords. If you want to do big pad sounds, I just, you know, jack it up to 32. That can, you know, overload your CPU, but I like to go with that. I'm going to turn on loop. It's going to highlight this region, and now we're going to form that triangle shape that I showed you earlier. Now, this is actually dead easy to do. If you look down where it says fade, I'm just going to turn that all the way up to 100%. And then I'm going to go to loop and just kind of pull it down. And you'll notice that it forms that triangle shape. You can still mess with these other things like start, which will move that triangle, or length, which will go basically to the left. So one goes to the right, one goes to the left, that kind of thing. Finding the sweet spot in your given sample, because every sample is different, right? But basically that's what you're creating. So when I play a chord, her voice has a nice loop that's going on. And then the second thing you want to do is change that ADSR. So I did a similar video on the channel about synthesizers and how important an envelope is to different synthesizer sounds. And what I basically do is I go down here, ADSR, so attack, decay, sustain, release. This is really useful for creating a type of sound. And I'm just going to go to that attack and type in 3000, which is like 3 seconds. Kind of a typical slow attack, you know, something greater than 3 seconds. It just kind of smoothly glides in. And then I basically can do the same thing for release. I mean, you can change these times however you want. This is just a suggestion, right? So release 3 seconds or more or less. So when I let go of the MIDI keyboard, she kind of just drifts away. And actually might even go greater. Let's try 4 seconds. So you can make these really cool ambient pads. In fact, I think the thing about attack and release is might be dependent on what kind of music you're making. Like you might want a faster attack, even though it's still technically a pad. You know, I digress. Okay, so believe it or not, it's actually that simple to get started. You can do a lot more with Simpler or Sampler in Ableton. There's a lot of deep features they give you in this device. But you can just get a good sound and start from there. And then a lot of times what makes a pad really beautiful is the effects that you put on it. And one of my favorites is actually a preset that you probably have in your Ableton. And it's a really cool reverb preset. If you type in large space chorus, just make sure you have audio effects selected or the all feature on your library selected. It should pop up. This is just from the simple stock reverb in Ableton, but it's a beautiful preset. And you'll notice when you turn this on, it's 100% wet, and it's going to take that pad sound and add lots of beautiful modulated diffusion to it. It's a really, really beautiful preset. I tend to change it around a little bit actually. Like in the presets that I linked down below, I do alter this one. I created my own preset called Steady Space, where I'm basically using that large space chorus. It's like a long decay, but I turn up the diffusion, I turn down the chorus amount. So there's not as much sort of pitch modulation. And I also kind of make it a little bit darker. So this is kind of my version of that same sample play through my own preset. So it's darker. And there's less modulation going on. Yeah, really beautiful sound from the human voice, which I think adds a lot of emotion. And if you're a fan of a lot of the 90s kind of sounds, a lot of the liquid drum and bass, and this is just a really useful technique for all kinds of different genres, but it always gives me this feeling of the 90s, which is one of my favorite eras for sound design. So yeah, have fun with this technique. Let me know in the comments if this one helps you, or if you've got other ideas you want to share with the community. I love hearing your comments. They're great. And I'll see you all later. Have fun making music.